The new chapter is begging to begin. It wants you. That's the thing. When you have an identity that you are trying to align with, I promise you, the opportunities and the things that come with that, they want you. They're coming towards you. The creative ideas that you receive want you. They are coming to you. And they keep coming back. So they must want you specifically. Why do they keep coming back to you? And what's going to happen when you stop hearing that whisper that pulls you towards your creative outlet? So when you feel that whisper, when you feel that urge, it's your responsibility to follow it, because it's just going to go to someone else who really wants it. So act like you know who the fuck you are, right? One of the reasons you're in a creative blockage, one of the reasons that you think that you're stuck or that you're cursed, is because you have an overactive mind. You're trying to overthink and logic your way out of something that is actually very spiritual and literally just boils down to energy at the end of the day. If that makes you uncomfortable, it's probably because you needed to hear it. When you're someone who is creative and you're living that path, you know what I mean? That does sometimes mean, and that usually does come with having a very loud brain. We need to remember that the mind does play tricks at the end of the day. And so when you are trying to think your way out of a creative blockage, you're just digging your heels into the sand. You're going even further into the quicksand. The only way to overcome is to actually make different decisions. Your body's recalibrating, you are crowning in terms of the rebirth process when you find yourself in creative blockages. And it's really important to actually just be in flow with that, right? If you're in a creative blockage, it doesn't mean you need to be asking why and analyzing yourself and trying to find all the different reasons. It actually means that there's something there that needs to be discovered. And you need to stop trying to think or logic your way into having some type of spiritual awakening or spiritual moment. You know what I mean? Stop doubting your own insight. Stop consuming instead of creating. Make a different decision. It's time to pivot. Every single time you are in a blockage, every single time you are stuck, you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel, you're flailing around, it means you need to return to self. Every single time you are stuck, return to self immediately, right? It's very, very easily, especially in our day and age, to start consuming more than we are creating. So the doom scrolling is too accessible. You have to have the discipline to know and to catch yourself before you start falling. Okay? So take away, remove the distractions, and sit in the stillness. Let it be nothing. Let it be empty. Be in the void. Literally just stay there. Because what's happening is that you are crowning. And usually when you find yourself in this kind of like stuckness, it usually means that there is kind of a conflict happening with you where you're fighting for answers. You're fighting for answers. You're trying to look and you're trying to see, am I missing something? You're comparing yourself. Okay? When the real creative force that connects all of us collectively is coming through, it comes through in whispers. And so what really has to happen is you have to quiet your mind. You have to get rid of the need to compare yourself, the need to figure out, oh, am I missing something? You know what I mean? The need to be like, okay, but this is what this person's doing. You know what I mean? That's not going to get you anywhere. That's actually what leads you down these kind of side quests that are completely fruitless. Okay? You're not actually stuck. You are simply believing old loops. You are simply attached to old identities and old versions of yourself. You need to change the keys, spiritually speaking. It's time to not even change the keys, Joe. You gotta change the lock, okay? You got a lot of spare keys floating around, change the locks, and then lock the door, okay? Don't let yourself carry this baggage around. You're carrying a lot of baggage. All of these old identities, all of the kind of, behaviors and survival, tactics and defense mechanisms that your old versions of yourself needed are simply burdensome to you now. They're dragging you down. You're carrying a lot. And what's required when you're shifting into a new chapter, creatively, energetically, spiritually, whatever you want to say, child, it requires you to start traveling lighter. You need to start traveling lighter. So you need to leave the baggage at the door. When it comes to staying aligned with the creative path, it's all about keeping a very disciplined balance of 5 different factors. Your body needs the routine. We are beings of earth. Earth is the plants, the other animals, right? Everything on this planet requires routine. It requires to be nurtured. It requires time. It requires slowness, okay? Look at the damn trees. Touch a tree, hug a tree. You get it, okay? So your body needs routine and discipline to be fulfilled and to function properly. That cannot go neglected. Because when that fails, when that's neglected, it's very hard for you to keep up with the rest of everything that keeps everything running in your creative health. So your body needs the routine and discipline. Your heart needs devotion. You need to feel fulfilled. You need to feel the passion. You need to feel the chase and the loyalty to the creative ideas that you have. Your mind needs to be clear. You need the clarity, right? So that's 3. 3, your mind. Your mind needs clarity. You need to calm down the chaos. When it comes to your creativity, you can't feel like you're being pulled in a million different fucking directions, because then nothing gets done. Then you can't make a decision. Then you feel paralyzed. And that's what causes you to be in these stuck, overactive thought loops, these negative thought loops, okay, that pull you away from self. Your voice, okay? Your voice needs to be expressed. Your voice needs the intention, right? So you need to have intention behind what you are expressing and what you are doing. That is very important. And 5, your spiritual channel needs to be activated. You need to feel like you are in touch with your intuition. You need to have that intuitive channel open and ready to go, okay? So it's really important, when it comes to getting out of creative blockages, you need to typically realign one of those 5 categories. One of those 5 categories, if maybe more than one, maybe all of them, are not open. They're not there yet. Okay? So you need to be back in flow with one of those 5. The biggest one, in my opinion, is the spiritual channel. Okay, if that's not there, if your intuition is not open, you're not receiving that intuition, then really the domino effect and if everything else is going to kind of go downhill from there. So really open up the stream, if you will. And the way I like to tap into the stream is to quiet my mind completely. And a lot of us have these kind of negative characters in our head where we're like judging ourselves, if that makes sense. We're judging ourselves when it comes to the things that, we're thinking about. It's like, oh, that's not realistic. We almost judge ourselves. We perceive ourselves. And so it's really important to set that aside. Don't judge whether something's realistic or not. Don't think about, well, how would so-and-so think about what I'm saying? Well, what would the audience think? There is no audience, okay? Stream down what you know are the next steps that you need to take without judgment, right? Right down in this stream of consciousness are probably the next steps you need to be taking. Okay, so do not ignore them. The other thing is, as I said earlier, embrace the stillness. When it comes to creative blockages, it likely is also due to the mind lacking clarity, the overstimulation. Okay, you don't need to be consuming more. You don't need to be looking for more. You need to let your voice rise above all the loud external things that are happening. Okay, so I hope that helps, and follow for more.